Flat Earth Debate live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a Coffee, Patreon, Crypto and Thanks button in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and X. Now we are joined by, click OK, Neil, Eli, Refracted Curvature, Duncan, and a whole bunch of people in the Flat Earth Debate Discord server. So, welcome one and all.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello, good to see you all. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature.
Swat. Can't think of any. No evidence.
Not since the 1st of January 2020 with the Black Swan. No, it's been debunked.
Yeah, if the Earth was a sphere with a radius of 3959 miles, then every distance to that Earth curve edge horizon could be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet as laid down in Earth curve mathematics. The Black Swan image shows a horizon beyond the physical limitations of the claimed geometric sphere edge at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Therefore, the horizon is not Earth curve, and the Earth is not a sphere. Black Swan.
Is surface level tangent to a sphere?
Surface level would be a description that would require 2 points. Tangent, with respect to a surface that's globular, only has a single point, so you can't reference it. So in answer to your question, no.
So if you're claiming the horizon is below surface level, then your mathematics is faulty, or
Well,
your interpretation of those mathematics.
Your interpretation requires surface level. Earth is flat.
Right, but what they have is they have a line they're drawing to a point of tangency below surface level from their eye level that is not the horizon.
Correct. They're claiming the point of tangency is the surface of a globe, but the surface level that's being referenced and measured, claimed to be a tangent, is surface level, not a globular point below surface level that you haven't measured and have extrapolated from the surface level measurement in the first instance. So no on all three fronts. We've got a video that we're going to cover today, which has actually slipped me by, which is often the case with Flat Earth videos. In spite of me being a Flat Earth videographer on YouTube, often things won't get recommended to me that are literally straight up my alley, from people who have recommended me as a videographer, no less, in this case, John Thor. Now, Flatsoid and I may have fallen out of favour in recent times, but that doesn't change the fact that he's got an exceptionally good bit of information that I'd have loved to have been forewarned about, but as it happens, we're going to be responding to this, or I am at least, cold, because I haven't seen it yet. So, as convoluted as this may sound, the videographer I'm going to shout out is the one that I'm covering, which is John Thor, but he is originally, or has originally got this from Flatsoid's perspective, so give both of them some love. But obviously in this instance, as it's the video we're covering, it's going to be an edit of the presumably couple of hour long live stream that was originally done by Flatsoid with Tinfoil Hatman the guest. And that video has been hacked down by John Thor, which is the one we're covering today. So the title of this video is Impossible Globe at Flatsoid's Perspective and Tinfoil Hatman, or TFHM, Glorious Flat Earth. by John Thor. So the link to that particular video is in the comment section now. So if you want to literally do this now, if you're on the live audience, there's 50 odd people watching, although we have only just started. So please let John Thor know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. If you're not so already subscribed to John Thor, it's one of the very rare times that I can say yes, actually go and subscribe to this person, because I actually would recommend it, rather than it being somebody who definitely doesn't like us and me hoping that they'd all respond with YouTube algorithmic love if they were to do a response to us when I send them to their video, letting them know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me. But in the case of John Thor, just subscribe if you haven't done so already. Chick and subscribe. There's a link going by in the live stream chat. Hopefully me waffling on a little bit gives you all a bit of time to actually go and do this. Although I won't waffle on too long, as there's only half the number of the normal live audience that are currently here. So if you're watching after the fact, go and check out John Thor's video. You can see it going by in the live stream if you bring up the live stream at this particular moment in the re-up, or whatever you'd call it after it's finished being lived and going out as a normal video. Anyway, that's given people enough time to go and give John Thor some love. Any comments on it from people who have watched this? Don't all go at once. What's the point being made? What's the argument? Does anybody know? I know some of you have watched this. Don't all go silent on me.
I have not seen this yet.
That's not very useful, is it? Who has watched this and who can give an opinion on it before we press play? If not, I'm just going to have to press play on it completely cold without any preamble, which is not very good. I'm so sorry, Tinfoil Hat Man. I'm so sorry, Flatsoid Perspective. I'm so sorry, John Thor. I should be doing a better job than this. I blame the algorithm. Ryan, are you there? You said you'd watch this. He's obviously buggered off immediately as soon as we've gone live. Right, let's just get into it and we'll have a little listen. Hopefully, Craig, who shared this particular video with us, has timestamped it at a good point.
Distance from I, because we know the scope is certainly at 0 meters, if not a little lower. Look at what the distance for their geometric physical horizon is: 112 meters away. Right? So
it's not even supposed to meet. You're not even supposed to see the bottom of that slanted hill there at all. It's supposed to be.
Okay, so I was about to give praise to Tinfoil Hat Man because he carefully phrased where their geometric supposed edge would be. And then we've got Flatsoid telling us what's supposed to be there and not supposed to be there. So there's a very clear, distinct difference between Tinfoil Hat Man's phraseology and Flatsoid's. It's back like the good old days where we're critiquing our own on the finite details, but as I understood it last time I interacted with Flatsoid, the guy's pretty close to the cutting edge of this subject. So I'm sure he wouldn't be perturbed by the fact that I'm giving him quite a high degree of critique. Don't take it the wrong way if you're an audience member.
You see, not even supposed to be the roof.
Yeah, you might, if you're lucky, you might see roof.
Tip of it, the village, maybe. I wouldn't even say it's about 11 meters.
Well, let's
say 10 from the bottom of that. Where you can see the
Let's now add this refractor gravel axe.
Yeah, let's add their standard terrestrial refraction, which we know is just an absolute load of garbage. Let's add it, and 9.5 meters.
You're still not supposed to see it. Not supposed to see nothing.
Okay, for those of you who are unfamiliar, they're in Walter Bislin's calculator, and what they're doing is, as a base, they're postulating what an earth curve edge obstruction would pose to this building. And then they're also, invoking Walter Bislin's version of terrestrial refraction at a rate of, in standard form, 7/6R, or whatever they've just slid the slider to, which I can't see from this distance. But nevertheless, so they're going through the motions of showing what globe earthers suggest should be an earth curve edge horizon obscuring our view of this house. Just so I know that might be base level for some, but there's people of all standards here listening, I'm sure.
That shows you how much is supposed to be hidden in the globe violation idiotic reification model that just
Yeah, see, that's why I was critiquing Flatsoid earlier, because he knows how to phrase it to make it clear what's being suggested on their behalf, like he just did, and he almost overdid it then with like many disclaimers previously. Just unfortunate for him that I pressed play at the point that this video is shared with me, and it's like, yeah, what shouldn't be there or should be there is only based on their claim. So you've got to be careful how you phrase things. But like you just saw, Flat Sword knows better.
And it's natural law.
Again,
Are they
Go ahead.
Are they using the Walter Bislin calculator where surface level and eye level are horizontal planes?
Yes, all of them are. All of them are derived from the same mathematics of a globe Earth with a geometric sphere edge below surface level called, quote, horizon with an X next to it. That's the same in all of them. So yes, and yes. Yes, it's Walter Bislin. Yes, they're claiming a geometric sphere edge below the surface level in the maths, yes.
The globe is a fantasy, you see. It's like it's not even like there's two opponents in the ring at a box.
No debate. There's no debate.
There isn't a blue corner with a guy sat there and a red corner with a red guy sat there. There's only flat Earth in the blue corner. And then in everybody else's imagination, there's a guy in the red corner jumping around, pumping his fists and his gloves together.
Amen. Well said, Tinfoil Hat Man. Absolutely spot on.
But he's not really there because there is no globe.
There's no fight in him.
Yeah, man. I always did like Tinfoil Hat Man.
No fight in him.
It's swing ball, isn't it? And you're playing on your own.
Yeah, there's no debate here. There's not. What are you going to do? Have a debate with the local inpatient down at the local mental asylum that says that they're Elvis Presley? Do you know what I mean? You're not going to have a conversation with them, are you?
-2 meters, okay? Because he's in like a little divot in the ocean floor bed. So and his gear is only about 1.5 meters. So it's actually 0.5 meter below sea level.
No, the gear is 1 meter, Matt.
1 meter. So it's 1 meter below sea level. We're just giving it 0 to be kind to the globe.
Wow, man.
We can't even
get people making excuses saying it's not the height. It's just them very buttered that the globe's crumbling in front of their eyes.
Flats, you can't input -1 into any of these globe calculators.
Doesn't exist. Exactly.
Right, so
what's -1? -1 of what? Anybody? What is he?
From horizontal to horizontal.
Sorry, I'll cut you off asking again. Say again.
It would be -1 from horizontal to horizontal.
Right. -1 feet or meter below sea level as the horizontal plane of reference. Again,
not C curve, right?
It's not that. It's just that what they're drawing on Google is represented in their elevation tables with something that Google Earth Pro calls an elevation profile. It might be available to everyone now, but back when we were using it, it was only on the Pro version that you could use this. And what you're essentially drawing out is, for them it's distance, but that's the same thing. It's just a straight line. Well, the line that they're drawing to get the distance that's linear must be straight. So everything that they're describing, heights above sea level and -1 below sea level, it's like Google Earth is referencing a flat Earth for everything. No exceptions. And you can draw a line across the whole of Earth and its known surface and show that everything and how high or low it is with respect to the same horizontal plane of reference. Earth is flat. Google Earth is flat. Maps are flat. That's how it works. So when you're arguing within the context of what a globe Earth mathematical derivation of the flat Earth measurement says should be below surface level, it becomes a bit absurd. And when you start utilizing the diagrams within Google Earth, there's nothing about it that's globe shaped. It's only when you zoom out and change all the scales and references as you do so, i.e. none of it's actually useful for building things, because the Pro version is used by professionals. Well, they're not going to lie about how the terrain's laid out. It is flat. And all of the references prove it, like these distances, like the elevation profiles, like your height with respect to a flat plane, and how low, in this case -1, you are below that plane of reference. It's kind of like we didn't know this back in 2015 when we were looking at this. None of this would get pointed out. Now, I'm not trying to say that these guys aren't, obviously we're watching an edit of this, so at some point in their 2-hour broadcast, there's a good chance they'd been saying the same thing. But obviously, when they're in context referencing how the Globers would extrapolate out all of their stupid claims of Earth curve below the surface level with all these flat Earth references and distances off a flat Earth, you know, us doing it is a lot more convoluted, like my unpacking of what's just happened. They can keep it concise because they can work within the paradigm, and they are. And I'm glad that John Thor's edit includes Tinfoil Hatman saying, look, there is no debate here. Now, with context, it's why is there no debate? Well, because everything we're referencing to describe both sides uses a flat Earth.
What do we see? So let's just go, let's get that other image back up. There we go. Right. So you'll see. And look at the telescope shake.
I love
Look
this.
at the
That's how windy it is.
Look at the air turbulence of the wind pouring away. So there's those posts that I just showed you. You can see them just here. These are the posts, and we're going to pan right, and this lighthouse is going to come into view. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And these posts, I haven't been and measured them, but they're probably no more than about a meter or two. And these are 6.2 miles away. That would be 8 meters. But we're seeing everything. We're seeing all the shore, all the banking going up. Importantly, boom.
Uh-oh. I love this part. Why are you seeing the bottom of that lighthouse?
Importantly, forgot to show you the elevation, all of this background elevation that you see here. Google Earth is displaying all of this background. So this lighthouse that you see in the top right corner, which you'll see in a minute, come more into view, is sat on
Ed?
Did Flatzoid ask a why question? Why are we seeing the bottom of that lighthouse?
Yeah,
That's not a why question.
Yeah, we are seeing it because we've got eyeballs. I don't want to be too critical, so I'm glad you said that, not me.
according to Google Earth, on an elevation of 6 meters. 5-6 meters.
See, again, immediately, to our salvation, it's Tinfoil Hatman, because he starts his statement with, on a globe with a radius. They're like, right, we've contextualized how we're going to make this claim, because we're disclaiming that it must be within the context of their claim, as opposed to just, why are we seeing the bottom of it? Because he's got a telescope and a set of eyeballs.
And there isn't anything around here, around the back, that's like higher than like 8 meters. You can check it all out for yourself and have a look for yourself. But look, 6 meters, 5 meters, 4 meters, 6 meters. When you start coming down here, you're like, look, you get like 6 meters, 7 meters, 5. So all of this around here. So we're seeing now this direct line of sight, this lighthouse here, and this one to the right hand side in the background. And all of this is 5-6 meters that this back telescope, back lighthouse is sat on. But watch.
I mean, look at that. You're not supposed to see any of that.
Again, do we
If the Earth were their globe, right?
Yeah. Sorry, Flatzoid, you're going to get it in the neck. We're not supposed to. We are. We've got eyeballs. Yeah? As a flat earther, I have to make no apologies for this. I'm just seeing it. Now, if you run it through the Earth curve maths, the failure to convert a flat Earth derivation of surface level to a point below surface level that's supposed to obscure your view, but isn't, is a failure of mathematics only. But why am I seeing it? Should I be seeing it? Shouldn't I be seeing it? Is answered on screen. There it is. What do you mean? Why are you asking me about it? Why am I even being challenged on this? There it is. I've got eyeballs. I can see it. No explanation is required. What's that, Mr. Globe Believer? It's a slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection of a telescope or lighthouse, not quite sure which because I'm a bit confused, from beyond the geometric sphere edge horizon that should be blocking our view when we derive a physical point below the surface level claimed to be Earth curve. Therefore, it's a mirage, says the globe-believing numpty. Me, flat earther, I've just got eyeballs. There it is. No need to explain why it's there. We see it. It's there.
Yeah, when it's a clear day, we see further. So,
But you don't even have to explain that. I remember Anthony Riley telling me about standing at St. Bees, looking at the Isle of Man. Someone's walking their dog next to him. He starts pointing it out to him and telling him about how you wouldn't normally see it, and the Earth curve would be this, that, and the other. And the guy's just looking at him with a blank face because he's like, I'm just looking at something in the distance, and you're suddenly telling me about why I should or shouldn't be seeing it. I'm just there it is. On I go with my day. Not like, oh, it's a really clear day today. You just see what you see. I can get that in the extreme, you can say it's a really foggy day today. But generally speaking, if I can just see something in the distance, I don't start reaching for why I can see it. I just see it. I don't know. This is something I've been banging for about 6 years, and I smile because it's one of those that no matter how much I try and bang this drum, people still feel that there's some necessity to explain the evidence of your own eyes.
Yeah, should be the Glober's explanation. Like when we were talking about a few weeks back, how the creepy guy comes around the corner saying, "You're not supposed to be seeing that." You know, that's the Glober's line. We don't have to apologize for it.
Yeah. Exactly.
But when you ask why, when you ask why, you invite explanation. There's no need to do that.
yeah, the Globers have it backwards. They're saying, like, when there's more atmosphere and more refraction or more bending light or whatever, we're seeing further than a clear day when it's just clear and we're seeing further.
Oh, that means you've been Jedi mind tricked.
Yeah.
Right, clear days equals extreme refraction.
No,
to
you've been
Globers.
Jedi mind tricked too. There's a lot of people being Jedi mind tricked. What's refraction?
Yeah, I know, it requires two mediums.
And that's what they're doing, is it? When they invoke terrestrial refraction, is that what they're doing?
Yeah, so they're basically saying that it's just a cop-out.
Stop, Mr. I've been Jedi mind tricked and I'm going to justify it. Absolutely not. 7/6 of a radius, or any derivation thereof, is nothing to do with refraction. The fact that it has the title terrestrial refraction doesn't mean it has anything to do with medium, Snell's law, looking at things. None of the above. It's, in standard form, 7/6 of a radius value that's derived from flat Earth measurements. Radial values, I'm sorry, does that have something to do with my eyeballs? No. Nothing they have to offer with terrestrial refraction has anything to do with this concept that us, that's flat earthers, have been Jedi mind tricked to believe they are talking about when they talk about what happens when we see things. They are not talking about what we see when they invoke what they put in quotes as refraction. It isn't. You need to understand that what they are invoking is a distortion of a radial value mathematically. That's it. Nothing to do with what you see.
I agree.
Know your hocus pocus. Don't start going down the lanes of what refraction would do. Well, I can go into Snell's law, but suddenly I'm in the trap that they've ensnared me into debating about what happens when I see things. You've only got 7/6 of a radius. Where'd you get the radius from? For your maths.
Flat Earth measurements, right?
Yeah, that's the end of their terrestrial refraction.
Well, whenever you want to invoke terrestrial refraction, just keep in mind that all of those studies done to gather the information to create the mathematics was done with respect to a flat plane.
Yeah. And the invocation has nothing to do with terrestrial refraction either. This was exposed by Anthony Riley in 2016. When they say refraction and studies in the same sentence in a globe Earth calculation context, they will invoke studies that are done with things that we see. And the outcome or the problem that they may invoke as a study has nothing to do with 7/6 in standard form of a radial value. These things are totally unconnected. And Anthony Riley held one of the mathematicians who has a calculator in this form, Metabunk, to account on his own website, where he invokes terrestrial refraction for the maths at 7/6R in standard form, and then says, click here for citation. And when you do, it takes you to observations that are done describing the effects we see with respect to a flat plane, as John just described, but absolutely zero reference to 7/6 of a radial value. There is no such beast when it comes to what we see. It's just maths. Not only is it maths, it's maths with an invoked radial value that's spherical, that's derived from a flat plane measurement of angles. So it's utterly absurd and has nothing to do with what we see. Don't be Jedi mind tricked. When they say refraction, ask them what they mean. What is refraction? Oh, well, it's when light traverses two mediums, like happens in the air when we go over a curve with it. Well, that's not your refraction when you're talking about Earth curve geometry. Your refraction 7/6 of a radius in standard form, or any number you care to attach as a derivation of that radial value to invoke the mathematics of a bent line in geometry. Inside view, in orthographic representation and mathematics. This is not what we see.
At all. And why are we seeing more of the back lighthouse and you further away than what those people took closer?
Because we've got eyeballs. Both of us have got eyeballs. The distance doesn't matter if you've got a telescope. Why am I having to explain it? Was it obvious? He's got a telescope. The guys closer don't need one because they're closer. Was that someone trying to get a word in? Go ahead.
Yeah, who is that? Flatsoy? Are we back in 2015?
Maybe. He knows better. He's given a list of disclaimers earlier. John Thor edited them in.
Look, we've got the little seagull, fat seagull on the deck in the foreground.
With a worm in his mouth. I'm joking.
But I mean, even the moss and all that stuff is shown at the bottom.
You can see you can see this water line. You can see flats, this water line, and this you can see distinctly. Okay, yeah, it's average visibility there, but look, you can see.
See right to the ground.
And we're not quite at the low tide point, so we're not at the point. There is a little bit of water, but look at what we're seeing.
It's can you deny that one?
Behold,
Thomas, he is 2 meters below sea level.
I hope he does a good job of highlighting what that means, the implications of those words. Let's just see.
Look,
2 meters below sea level.
Well, we've just had a guy in chat saying, "Oh no, you can't use mean sea level. You've got to use correct height above water."
No.
Oh, so we're now going to we get into a situation where the anti-flat earthers start confusing with mean lower water level and mean higher water level and referencing against a mean sea level. Oh dear. We can go into that as well, Flats. But look at the chubby seagulls and.
Go into what? You've already undone it. You've just not pointed out how those words themselves undo a globe's necessity for a point in the distance below the surface level, currently being described as sea level, mean or otherwise. They're levels. Both sides have to measure Earth flat for these derivations with reference to the surface. I mean, maybe Tinfoil Hat Man isn't appreciative of that when they're talking about sea level. They're like whistling past the graveyard. Like there's some further explanation that needs to debunk the globe's use of the surface level that's flat. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's already game over at this point. It's just not being said, is it?
I'll send him a list.
I don't think Tinfoil Hat Man understood when he was here the point we were making. I think he just thought I was being rude when I brought it up.
Okay.
Deck in before. So you're about to see a boat come across. So that's that jetty coming out. And you'll see now a boat comes in front and you'll see. I'll show you what's going on. But look, you just see all of everything.
How are you seeing even that jetty at the back there? I mean,
because it's a straight flat plane. It's not live on a globe. Here
look at that.
The boat in the.
You can see the plimsoll line on the ship even.
Look at all the water splashing up, right? So let me just show you what's going on here. So look, we're shooting across. and I told you it's a busy shipping lane because they're all going up to Hull. So obviously that boat's come in through here, and it's coming through.
Can anyone actually see the distance? Because it's not actually been mentioned, and maybe it had and I just didn't catch it. Does anyone know what this distance is?
And it's in between us. It's somewhere in between us. So it's coming in between. And again, we're 6.12 miles to that old high lighthouse, and 6 miles. It's all around 6 miles to that jetty and everything. And then look, the boat comes in front. I didn't focus on the boat because I was struggling with. It really just belies what the weather conditions I faced. It was so windy. I'm really pleased with how stable the tripod and the equipment is, because you can see all the telescope shake, but it's quickly resolving itself. So that means it's a good setup, you know.
Can someone from the chat tell me, how far is this? 102 people watching. I may as well do a quick call to action. So, now press the wrong button. I'm on the wrong screen. Whoopsie.
I will say it matters not whether it is 2 feet or 2 miles. It is all linear distance over a horizontal plane.
Absolutely. It would be nice to know the distance, though, and I just don't. And obviously, it's an edit, so he's no doubt put that headline in early on when he started saying, and this is so far, but I can't see it on the little box. 4K resolution's great until you get something teeny tiny. I've upped the resolution on the video for the audience, so hopefully that'll help. Anyway, I've just put a link to John Thor's video, and there will be an onward link, I've just checked, to Flatsoid's Perspective. So, please let John Thor know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me, and subscribe to him, you know, share the YouTube algorithm. He recently did the same for me. He did a little edit with me as Dr. Evil, talking about, I believe it was Thunderfoot. I can't remember, but I think it might have been. In any event, big shout out to him. Lots of love to John Thor. Go and subscribe. And indeed, he'll provide you with the link onward to the original couple of hour live stream that we are looking at an edited version of. And that's on Flatsoid's Perspective channel. So, yeah, also share the love if you go onward. But hopefully, if you, because there's over 100 people watching currently, we'll click on that link as it's going by right now and just pick up where we're leaving off in the video terms with John Thor and let him know that I sent you along. Hopefully he'd do the same for me in future as he's done in the past. Thank you very much to you as well, John Thor, for shouting me out and doing that video with me as Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
But I was really fighting with bad conditions.
But if you look how clear this is compared to what you would use with something like the P1000 or something, it's a big difference.
Yeah, because you get massive aperture and you get massive light coming in, so you get side by side the same magnifications. This will kill a P1.
I mean, if you look at this and say anything but flat, then you should go book yourself in at the nearest psychologist because something's wrong.
So look, we just see everything. We just see all of these little wooden structures on the ground. That's 6.2, 6.3 miles. Look, we're just looking straight.
But I mean, if we're looking at...
Okay, I mean, what we're looking at is great because Earth is flat, and with good enough magnification on a clear enough day, you can see really, really, really far. And the point that these guys are making out back, you know, they're saying, look, there is no obstruction from a derived physical geometric sphere edge that's calculated based on surface level. There isn't any. Now, we know this already, and to some, this is a massive revelation. And it is impressive. You know, I can't deny the nature of his imagery in terms of, I'd love to know how far this is. But I already know from past experience with Tinfoil Hat Man that this will be an immense distance. And, you know, given how far and how close to the surface it is, you know, it's kind of self-evident in terms of what he's trying to present as flat Earth evidence. And it is. Look how far you're seeing without obstruction. But when he was here last time, we kind of hinted at this to him, which is that it leaves a bitter taste in our mouth to present this as evidence for that reason. Because the way you have to present it is to say, look at the lack of something that should be there. There should be Earth curve in the way. Now, for my standards, say, there is no need to explain this, because what explanation is required? We're looking at stuff from the surface level a very long way away. It's self-explanatory. Now, as a poke at the opponent, it invites them to come and justify why their religious belief of an obstruction derived from flat Earth measurements at surface level isn't blocking the view. But for us as a sort of a proactive way of saying, look how flat Earth is, that's literally all you can do. Look how flat Earth is. And from that perspective, kudos, good for you to Tinfoil Hatman. This is exceptionally good imagery done under, circumstances where you can show the elevation with respect to a flat plane in the first instance, which is why it's, this is going to sound so offensive, redundant. Any other comment?
Yeah, so I guess a good way to explain it would be to, if you're going to do it this way, present how flat it is, but then say, just explain the modus tollens. If Earth were a globe with a sphere with radius of 3959 miles, etc., then it cannot be a sphere.
And every distance to horizon can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as laid down in Earth curve maths. Distance to horizon in the Black Swan is beyond the geometric limitations at 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet, as on screen now. Therefore, the horizon is not Earth curve. Here's surface level. How are we going to derive Earth curve? Well, we're going to calculate a difference between our eye level at elevation with respect to surface level. It's measured from sea level. Height above sea level, parallel with surface level. That's what we need to do this maths. What are we doing? Inferring a horizon below the surface level, marked with an X and labelled horizon in this maths. The distance to that horizon is derived by your height in feet above surface level at 1.2 times the square root of that observer's height. That's how the maths works. Sorry, John, go ahead.
But surface level is part of the horizon. It's where surface level meets the sky. How can you do that?
You can't. The inference of a horizon below surface level bastardizes the original surface level measurement. It's a stupid nonsense. Earth curve's stupid. The way you've back-engineered it into your religious faith of having a ball beneath your feet requires obscure maths where you see the side of your own head and the target potentially tens of thousands of miles away, and an inferred point below surface level that's obscuring your view of it, ignoring all aspects of perspective, in fact hijacking them to claim that the effect of perspective is the effect of a geometric limitation derived from a surface level that you must measure, with a horizon, to boot, that's being violated with a new horizon below it. It's utterly absurd. That's the lengths you've got to go to convince people of a religious faith in being on a ball. It's nonsense. We're not. Earth's flat, that's how it's measured, including and not limited to these maths.
The advanced Earth curve calculator to just that lighthouse alone, okay, with the standard refraction, it's supposed to be 6 meters hidden. That's at above sea level. How's that?
Yeah, they definitely haven't got it. That's the conclusory point for us, isn't it? He's given out the globe Earth maths. He's said sea level, and then he's asking how that's possible. Well, the answer to that we covered already. We've got eyeballs, we just see it. There's no explanation required. When you infer the globe Earth maths, Black Swan, the distance to horizon's been debunked if you're going to infer that a orthographic view gives you an Earth curve horizon below surface level. That was debunked in 2020. The fact that you're asking within the context of a question that has surface level in it means that Flatsoid does not appreciate that in order to make the claim, you need to measure Earth flat with surface level. He's not saying it, he's asking why. There's no question to be asked as a flat Earth or Flatsoid. Furthermore, their inference of a claim that they would have to respond to needs surface level in it. You need a flat Earth for their globe claim too. I'm glad we're here to help. I mean, being close to the cutting edge isn't the cutting edge. Let's be honest. No offence to you, Flatsoid. Maybe you should keep up to date with the flat Earth debate. Earth's measured flat.
No globe, mate.
So you shouldn't see any of what we're seeing in the.
No, we should. We do. We are. The claim that we shouldn't in an orthographic view requires an Earth to be flat and measured with heights above sea level to derive surface level with a globe Earth marked with an X horizon below it. That doesn't mean we should or shouldn't see anything.
Right. To say you shouldn't see it, but you do, is to invite phenomena. Be
I like that
careful.
you say it that way. I like that oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Apocryphon.
I was gonna say I like that you say it that way because it's like, hello, we're seeing it. So you shouldn't say we shouldn't see because we, like you're saying, we are seeing it. So then that way it doesn't give them wiggle room to try to get out of why you should be or could be or you are seeing it. It's just you should just be more, like you're saying, like just more definite. Like, hey, we're seeing it, and that's it. Like, enough said. You're done. You know.
Right.
I like that. I like that you say it that way.
think that John, like, kudos to you, man. That was some real poetry right there, man. Invoking a phenomenon. Yeah, because they're trying to tell people that something's happening. That's good. I like that.
Excuse me, I've been saying that for the last 3 years. Slightly looming non-standard refraction hyena holographic projection. Yeah, you could shorten that to phenomena. It's a lot less catchy.
It's a lot more catchy. Now that I
can't quite believe my friggin' ears here. You're definitely not my favourite anymore, John. Yes, they're trying to invoke a phenomena when you just see something. Yeah, we're seeing it. It's there. No, it shouldn't really be there. It's a hologram. It's a mirage. No,
Is this another version of is this another version of it's a shoe then?
No, this is them invoking that something that we see shouldn't really be there. Therefore, the fact that it's there when it shouldn't be means there's something occurring like a phenomena. That's what a phenomena is, something happening. Seeing something is a concrete noun. They're turning something that you just see into a concrete noun. Why? Well, because according to their maths, it shouldn't be there. We, as flat earthers, shouldn't be saying this. It's utterly absurd. But when there's no glober to respond to, wow, look, we can see really, really far today. And maybe even offer an attempted response, like I shouldn't get annoyed at this, but it's a really clear day. Look how far we can see. Isn't that amazing? No, but we'll just go there anyway. And then somebody from the globe earth or anti-flat earth side comes along and says, no, we aren't seeing this lighthouse. It's not really there. What you are seeing is a slightly looming refracted projection of this lighthouse from behind the physical geometric sphere edge I can derive mathematically in orthographic view. Therefore, it's a mirage from behind Earth curve. We shouldn't really see it. No. As a flat earther, I just see it. It's just there. There's no explanation required. It's not a phenomena. It's a lighthouse.
Bottom there at all. Flat horizon. At all.
That's probably the end of what's his name's video, so we'll presumably end it there. I'll do one more call to action. Please let John Thor know at Nathan Oakley 1980 sent me with a polite comment. Not that you're going to be swearing at him. Hopefully you'll be subscribing to him. But if you are in the 100 people that are watching, amongst the 100 people that are watching right now, please click on the link and just share some love with John Thor. Right, any further comments? That's the end, pretty much. You see really far because Earth is flat.
Yeah. Yeah, the limitation to your view may be given as phenomenon, and we understand diffraction. So there is a phenomena, but you don't reverse it and say seeing something is a phenomenon. That's just insane.
Yes, it is. Any other comments? Nobody wants to get told off, clearly. Comments earlier till I'm like, no, you've been Jedi mind tricked. Now everyone's holding their tongue. Don't be afraid. It's okay.
No. I'm trying not to flip out on tinfoil hat man and flatsoid, but they're bringing me back many years. What's going on here? Do we speak to walls?
We speak to walls. I occasionally talk to my microwave when it's taking a while. What do you mean?
Oh, we must be speaking to walls because nobody's hearing a word we're saying.
I had this conversation with Brian yesterday, right? When he was getting a bit despondent about people not immediately jumping up in arms about the fact that the pitch data shows Earth's unequivocally flat. Well, in the same way the Black Swan's taken 4 years of us banging the same drum so that people do understand it, we still have to bang that drum even with flatsoid, as the case may be. Now, this isn't pitch data, but it's easy to get despondent when you're trying to educate something into somebody that's brainwashed. Who's the somebody in this case? Everyone. So don't get despondent.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Yeah, so Neil, stop forgetting that most people are like, most people are dumb, man. Like, including most of us. I don't know how. I think y'all think I'm joking when I say that, or that Kiwi's joking when he said it. No, fam. Listen, you understand when someone makes a grandstanding speech and people are quiet because it makes sense and there's nothing that they can say about it or do about it. So it's like, that's why no one's saying anything. There's nothing to say. Some people are like, yeah, well, already knew. Some people are like, I have no idea what this means, just like they don't know water at rest is level, what that means, right? That's the most simple statement any of us can make. So, yeah, like, give it some time, man. Yeah.
Eli, Flatsoid sat on this panel for years.
I just said most of us are dumb too. I wasn't joking. Like, I'm dead serious.
I disagree with that.
Well, everyone's at a different level, just like everyone can't bench 300. So no, everyone's not on the same level of comprehension. Some people it's going to take more time for the information to download. It is.
Well,
what
dumb's
it is.
the wrong word. Dumb's the wrong word. It should be.
Well,
I
maybe
guess,
it is,
ignorance.
but don't be a crybaby. Maybe it is, but you understand what I'm saying, though, right?
Well, yeah. The
Okay.
thing is, with us though, we are a cut above the rest because we're
Yeah,
naturally.
see, that's the problem. That's our Dunning-Kruger trying to tell us that we're smarter than. No, we're not. Like, don't miss it.
I
It's
disagree.
not that I'm telling people that we're dumb. We're not above anyone. Because the people that, we're not above. Flat earthers aren't above everyone else. Because if we were, 95% of flat earthers, which is a statistic I just made up.
Don't you,
95.
hold on, Eli. Just chill. You're overgeneralizing. What he's trying to say is not flat earthers are above anybody else for our exemplary knowledge. He's specifically saying you, Eli, me, Duncan, the people on this panel. He means us are a cut above other flat earthers in this regard, and we are. There's no way you're going to ever convince me anything other than that, unless you show me examples where we're a cut below someone else and we're not. So you're overgeneralizing, and then saying no because I overgeneralized. That's not true. No, we are a cut above. We're the cutting edge of this subject. There's no two ways about that.
That's true. The best you're going to get is on this panel. And I wholeheartedly
Now you're
know that.
talking. You betcha. Subscribe today. Anything else? Go ahead. Did you have something else, Duncan?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true what you just said, Nathan. We are a cut above the rest. We're just naturally more curious than other people because we're here and we're finding out the truth, and our arguments are rock solid. Mostly thanks to QE, of course, but it doesn't change the fact that we're still a cut above the rest.
Yeah, I agree with all of that, except for the bit about generalizing us as being more curious, because I'm pretty lazy. And if someone else is curious on my behalf, Yeah, that's just as good.
Well, you were curious enough to find out the truth, or at least get the ball rolling.
I'll just concede.
Is the standard.
Here we go. Brian's piping up. He said something to get his teeth into. Go ahead, Brian.
Difference is standard. We have a higher standard than others, and that's why we hold ourselves to a higher standard, and we hold each other to a higher standard, and that's why we don't end up speculating on stupid stuff and coming out with big stupid statements all the time and things like that. To hear other people doing, we like to get our facts correct, and when it's not correct, we give each other hell for it. But that's standard is everything.
Yeah, exactly. When you say, as soon as you say give each other hell for it, what I'm thinking of is the times that my blood pressure gets raised, and it's typically not what you might expect while I'm putting the overdramatics on for some baller that's chanting through me. It's actually more stressful when we're trying to thrash something out internally, or when I've compared it for the audience's benefit in the past. I've said, well, when I'm having an internal squabble with someone like Jaron, well, that's no different to Brian or anybody else when we're thrashing it out in debate or on the live stream or behind the scenes. You know, it's all that's stressful when it's internal, when it's flat Earth related. Typically, none of it's ever got anything to do with Earth not being flat. That doesn't seem to be the actual bones of contention when we're arguing about stuff. More often than not, it's our unpacking of a globe Earth argument that's being misunderstood by one of the flat earthers. Let's say it's me, and my regurgitation of what I perceive their argument to be is wrong, and therefore my unpacking of it is also wrong, and therefore I need to be told this in no uncertain terms. As an example, right? That can become stressful.
Well, let's take an example. Like I used to say, use the term structural support. I liked it because it was intuitive, but because gases don't actually have a structure, but they're unbonded, I fought the best I could fight with that, and eventually I had to accept that, you know, I can't keep on describing it that way, even though people were taken to it. I couldn't keep on describing it that way. Eventually I had to give up on it. But that was after a lot of argument and to's and fro's. You know, I had to eventually concede that, okay, I keep it that way because it's not correct. But would another group of people go through that, or would just keep on saying structural support? Or would anyone ever challenge anyone on it? No, that's the difference.
That's how we
it's the same thing with your measured flat. I don't say that. Sorry, Nathan. Sorry.
Well, that's how we separate the wheat from the chaff. You know, again, you don't like the phraseology because you don't like to give the convoluted nuance to it prior to saying it. You know, you don't like the fact that I can use it as a hashtag. Now, without going through that argument for the 24th or 5th time, the justification has been thrashed out. That's how we separate the wheat from the chaff. I wouldn't be saying if it wasn't acceptable. That is to say, at some point, Brian's got to the point where, in debate, literally, he said, yeah, okay, well, that means it's measured flat. And I've gone, gotcha. In other words, Brian understands that I can get him to that point. Therefore, he's not going to continually neg me about using that phraseology because he happens to not like it. There's various arguments Brian uses that I don't, much to his annoyance sometimes. Different point. That, you know, I'm not going to use. And that doesn't change that they've all been through the same mill. At the other side of Brian saying something that I may not use, or vice versa, both statements have been through the mill. Now, if it came to somebody challenging me or vice versa, Brian, on a point that I don't necessarily use, but I know damn well he's right because I was the mill that it went through, or in this case, you know, Brian understands how Earth is measured flat with context. Therefore, he's not going to stand in my opposition when some baller comes along and tries to use that against me. Brian understands the nuance. That's the mill. In other words, when you're hearing us saying stuff, you're not sitting there thinking, oh, are one of the panel shifting uncomfortably about this because they don't like it? No, we've milled it. That's why we say we're on the cutting edge. That's why the blade is so fine at the tip.
Well, the thing about it is that I might use a statement that you wouldn't use, or you would use one that I wouldn't use, but we wouldn't continually use it if it can't be verified. And that was the thing about structural support. I just couldn't argue it any further, because when it came down to it, gases don't have structure, even though I could argue that this effect happens and that effect happens. It didn't matter. Gases behave as if they're unbonded, and I just couldn't. I couldn't continue it on any further. So I had to drop it.
Just because you're struggling because it's something that you've had to concede. It's happening with me at the moment, so I'll stutter and stammer over this because, for colloquial reasons, I use the word model quite a lot, and no matter how many times I do it, I'm getting it in the neck for it, and I'm trying to downplay it, and it's just not working. I'm like, oh, you're just moaning. No, I do understand why it's an inappropriate term. I just can't out using it. Does it change the fact that I still get it in the neck every time? No one's making any concessions because, oh, he's just used to saying it. No one cares. No one's got any empathy for me in that regard. I just get told off again. And that's how it should be. No, you're using this term incorrectly. Yeah, but when I say Copernican model, that's how they were taught in school. I don't care, it's wrong. Yeah, but it's quicker to get the person who understands that terminology to the point that they understand what I'm talking about. I don't care, it's wrong. You're wrong. Stop doing it. Oh, you're too fussy. No, you're just... And so it goes on. Things that haven't made it through the mill can't make it... They won't make it to flour. It's never going to happen. As much as somebody in the fold might want something like that, that's what the mill is, right? And that's why we're so bold. People could say we're arrogant. I don't care. When we say we're at the tip of the spear and we're the absolute cutting edge of this argument, we are. I can say that with confidence because it's a fact. Now, when we see our counterparts not doing quite as good a job, we're not doing it with a wry smile because we want to demean them. We want everybody to have as fine an edge as we have. And the confidence to be able to say that as a fact is what sometimes emboldens other people to appreciate just how fine the edge is and realise that, yeah, it is sharp. Yeah, we'll slice and dice if you're prepared to pick it up. That's it, basically. Now, I'm proud of the mill. You know, it is stressful, but nothing that's worth its salt is ever going to be easy to come by. A fine edge on a flat earth argumentation blade, metaphorically speaking, is not easy to come by. So I'm very proud of what we pass on to our audience on a daily basis. And we collectively should be proud of that. We have collectively worked very hard, I say with a wry smile, when I've just talked about being lazy and setting other people on errands to find stuff out. That's me, I'm a Leo, I'm very lazy. Doesn't alter the mill in the process, and what I play as a cog in this mill is irrelevant in this regard, as I smile away. Lots of other people around me do exceptionally good research, and I'm not going to demean what I do. I'm still a very important cog in that particular wheel, but as a collective group, we are the cutting edge. And it is something we should be proud of. It's something that we should not harp on about because we're arrogant, but let people know, no, this is absolutely refined information. You're not going to find that there's something that, as you put it across to your opponent, unless you're just immature in the argumentation, that you're going to find is wrong. You know, that is not the case. And if we are discussing it to speculate about it or debate about it, you'll hear about it in debate, as opposed to being used as a rhetorical device over and over again, once it's been through the mill.
Yeah. Well, people say we attack other flat earthers. Like, this is rubbish. No, we attack anybody, regardless of if they're outside our group or inside our group, who are wrong. It's that simple. That's the whole point. What is the point of all this effort to move away from a completely incorrect paradigm and just start accepting a load of inaccuracies again? Why do that? Be willing to change. You know what I mean? When something is not correct, be willing to be willing to accept it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a reason. There's a psychological reason, in my opinion, for that, and that's that people have to appreciate that the reason they were, in this case, on a ball was because of a lack of their own standards. You were duped. That's the bottom line. That's why people rebel against us. Yeah? They don't want to have the humility. It's embarrassing. It's a pride thing, whatever you want to call it. They brace against it for that reason. But when you actually contemplate how you became in that position to begin with, now you could argue, oh, I was indoctrinated from birth. No. If you're a realist, you go, it was my own ignorance. Often there are terminologies that we are now highlighting that are there in plain sight that you just didn't pick up on. That's your fault. That's why people brace against it. You have to understand and recognise your own ignorance. Now that is humbling. I'm putting this in as a nice little crap sandwich after saying how fantastic we are and on the cutting edge. But there are, more often than not, humbling moments when you appreciate your own ignorance. And like a bee sting, the first one's absolutely horrendous. But further to that, they get less and less painful thereafter, after you kind of recognise what's going on. Now, the being humbled, having a bit of humility, is a step that you have to take when introspection steps in. You go, I did not realise this. I just didn't study hard enough. I didn't research well enough. I didn't see the wood for the trees. I didn't realise sea level meant level. All of these things means that you have to then say, right, I need to be more vigilant moving forward, more disciplined in terms of what I will open my mouth and spew, and understand that there's still going to be times when I don't realise I'm spewing garbage that I haven't verified, and someone, hopefully, will point it out and I'll be grateful to them. With humility, being humbled by the fact that someone else knows better and can show you why.
Well, it's a bad habit people get into when not accepting when they're wrong, or not saying to someone that they're wrong when you should say it. Both of those habits are bad. Whereas we're trying to get away from those habits. That's why we'll point things out with other people and within our own group that are inaccurate or incorrect. And that's one habit we're trying to break. But the other habit we're trying to break then is to learn to accept when you're wrong, when you're ignorant, whatever. Because if you can't do that, then every other thing you ever say that's right doesn't really hold the same weight. Because you have to be able to accept it when you're not right. That's it. And that's the difference between us and other people. You have to accept you're wrong here. Or you have to be able to absolutely show that you're right, and other people, everyone else is saying you're wrong, is wrong. You must be able to show it and prove it, or else, you know what I mean? Otherwise, you have to admit you're wrong. It's that simple. And I think that standard is missing from the world.
Absolutely. So in short, you must remain vigilant. With that, I'll say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, though, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So, another massive thank you to all of you. Smash the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, joined as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. A massive thank you to today's Discord and G+ panels. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.